Hello everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today I will be going through my eyeshadow palette collection and decluttering some of the palettes I never will see myself using. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Okay, so here we go. These are all my palettes laid out and I'm just going to go through them quite randomly. I did put some of the brands together and all of that. But I'm going to start with this one right here. This is the Marc Jacobs palette. What is this? The Fantascene iconic palette. That's what it's called. This one has a lot of pinky shades and it has that warm bronzy shade there. I never ever reach for pinks to put on my eye. I just feel like it makes me look really tired, I would say. Just like have really inflamed or sensitive eyes when I wear pink on my eyes, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. And also, yeah, this is pretty old. I've never used it, so yeah, I'll get rid of this one. Alright, so next here, let me go to this one. This is the Huda Beauty palette in Mercury Retrograde. This palette has a lot of really cool shades, as you can see right there. Really awesome shades, but I never reach for this. I thought I was gonna reach for this during the springtime and wear a lot of, you know, cute pastel colors on my eyes, but I never reach for it. I really love these shades right here, but I just never reach for it. I think I've only used it maybe once, so this palette is pretty brand new. I might offer it to a friend if they want it. If not, then I'll just toss it because honestly, I never use it. I think I used that purple once and it was actually really cool, but I just don't use this enough, so I'm gonna get rid of that too. Alright, let's go next to this Patrick Ta palette here. This is in Major Dimensions eyeshadow palette. This is the original one that he came out with, and this has a bunch of neutrals there, and this is stunning. I don't think I've used this eyeshadow palette before, so it's really brand new. I am going to keep it. I do want to use it, so this is staying. Okay, some that I know I am going to keep are these Natasha Denona bigger palette. These are beautiful, specifically this one in I Need a Nude. These colors are so pretty. This palette is so bridal and so beautiful. I love this palette. It has a good, beautiful mixture of shades and shimmers. It's just stunning. So this one is not going anywhere. I need to reach for this. So this one is definitely going to stay. I love this palette. This one here is the Natasha Denona Biba palette. This has deeper shades. Yes, it has deeper shades. Some of them are warmer, and I don't really typically reach for warm shades on my eyes, but this one I just can't bring myself to get rid of. I do want to use it more. It does have some more neutral shades here, so I would like to keep it and use it, get some use out of it, because it's a really nice palette, so I'm going to keep that as well. And the last one of the bigger Natasha Denona palettes is this one, the Glam palette. And this one has more cool tone shades here, which are really nice also. The shimmers are beautiful, the mattes are very nice and useful. So I'm going to keep this one as well. I do want to reach for these a little bit more than what I have. So these are staying. Okay, and talking about more of a cool tone palette, this one from Anastasia is the cool tone palette that they came out with a while back. These shades are pretty nice. The shimmer shades are very shimmery, and it just has a random coral in this little deeper mustardy color right there. I really don't think I need this, and especially after looking at this one, the Glam palette. I was going to keep it. I really thought I was gonna keep it, but after seeing that one, I don't think I need it. This one is really new as well, and it has a nice deep black shade, but I just never use it, and I need to be more realistic with myself with what I have, and not just hoard things in my collection just to have them. So yeah, I think actually I'm gonna part with this. I didn't think I was, but I think I'm gonna say goodbye to the Sultry palette. Okie dokie. And let's go into this other shimmery one then. This one is the Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. This, I love the packaging, it's so fun, but I never reach for this palette at all. I have used it here and there because I actually kept it in my car for a little bit to try to use it if I was on the go and I needed to do a quick makeup eyeshadow look, but I never really used it. I used the matte shades a bit here and there, and this one in my inner corner if I just wanted to give myself a little look, but I never really reached for this. It does have a lot of cool shades here, and let me actually swatch this blue one on my hand. This one looks like that, and it's a really cool shade. It's like a deep royal blue, and it's very shimmery, but I just know I will never use it. And this one is quite old, so I'm gonna say goodbye to that one. Okay, I have one other Huda Beauty palette here, and this is the new Nude palette. This one is very pinky as well. It has lots of pink shades, deeper mauve shades here. And like I mentioned, I never reach for these shades on my eyes. I have never really used it. I think I used a couple shades down here. So this one's practically new too. I wish I would have dipped into those shimmery shades, but I just never did. So I am going to get rid of this. Yeah, decluttering this one as well. Speaking of pink shades, this little Natasha Denona palette in Mini Love is a very beautiful little palette, but I don't think I'm ever going to reach for it because I don't really gravitate towards pink on my eyes. This one is completely new. I've never swatched it or anything, so I think I'm gonna offer it to a friend that may like to use these colors on her eyes, but yes, I'm decluttering this one. I know I'm never gonna use it. Alright, this palette here is the Anastasia Norvina palette, and this one is really pretty because it has more of those pinky purpley shades. It has that purple shade right there and right there. It does have pinks, but it also has these colors right here that remind me more of fall time. I'm gonna keep this one. I think it's a really beautiful palette. I haven't used it in quite a while, so I would like to keep it, give it another go. If I don't use it, then I'll declutter it again, but it's staying for now. So this is the Soft Glam palette, which I think is my favorite from the Anastasia palettes that I have, because these shades are very wearable for me. So it has some deeper tones there, but I love the looks that I can get from this one. It even has this little orange soda shade, and it's really cute. So this one is definitely staying. I would like to reach for it more, so now that I am going through my eyeshadow palette collection, I can remember to use this one. And speaking of pink and maybe plum shades, this Modern Renaissance, it brings back so many memories of that time when this one was viral and people were going crazy for it. This is a beautiful palette, however. It has a lot of neutral shades and just these few deeper berry shades. So I feel like I can justify keeping this one. These are not too old. I really got into the Anastasia train very late, so I can still use and love these, so I'm going to keep this one as well. I'm going to go through these Colourpop palettes next. This one is the Colourpop Brown Sugar palette, and this looks like this. It has a lot of beautiful shades here. This I will keep because I actually use this one and the Going Coconuts palette when I do go on vacation, just because I know that if they break or get damaged for any reason, it won't be so heartbreaking. This one I love. This one reminds me of the I Need a Nude palette from Natasha Denona. So if you're looking for a dupe, I would say get this one, the Going Coconuts palettes. But these two are staying. These are very nice. And the formula for Colourpop shadows are really good and they're inexpensive. Alright, speaking of inexpensive, the only little drugstore thing that I have here is this Wet n Wild a little single shade in Brulee. I use this to just put all over my lid whenever I need to just blank something out on my eyelid. So I'm gonna keep this one. This one right here, this big boy, the Tati Beauty eyeshadow palette. What was the name of this? Did it have a name? I can't remember. Just volume 1. This I have never used, but I will never get rid of. It's beautiful. Look at those shades. She did such an amazing job when she came out with this palette. I love this shade. It has blue specks running through it. It's just stunning. But this is a perfect palette. I wish I did reach for it when it first came out. I just had a lot of makeup. I never reached for it. But now this is staying with me for the memories. I really wish Tati can get her brand back and live her dreams of having her own makeup line again, but this will stay with me forever because I love the memories attached to it. I was so excited when she came out with this, and I am gonna keep this. This is beautiful. This will be forever like a timepiece for me. Okay, so we're winding down here. Let me go through these smaller Natasha Denona palettes. This little palette is the Ayana palette from Natasha Denona, and I've used it just a couple times, but these shades are beautiful. The formula for Natasha Denona is just stunning, so definitely not going anywhere, keeping that. As well as this one right here and this one. These two are the mini Glam palette and then the mini Zendo palette. These are stunning. They're very gorgeous. This one does have some shades that are quite similar to the big Glam palette, but I'm still gonna keep it. And this one I haven't used at all. I've never touched it or swatched it, but I do want to keep it. I do like this formula a lot, so those are staying. And then I have these little small ones. This is a little individual shadow from one of the shadows from the Glam palette. So this is staying, and these two little guys are staying. The mini Biba trio and the retro palette trio. These are so cute, so they're gonna stay. Alright, so here we go. Last few palettes here. This one right here is the Makiage palette in collaboration with Kathleen Lights, and honestly this is such a beautiful palette. I love how they put these shades in here, how there's a bunch of mattes in the middle with these fun shades on the side, and then these shimmer brighter shades on that end. So this is staying for sure. I have reached for this purple shade and I really do enjoy it. So this right here is that purple shade. Look at that. How fun is that? And then this one is one of the shimmer shades. Those are so gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I love that. So I'm gonna keep this one for sure. Okay, another one I'm definitely keeping is this Pat McGrath palette. This is in Mothership, and these shades are so beautiful. They have such a lovely shift to them, and these are not inexpensive to say the least. They're quite pricey, but they're so beautiful. And honestly, Pat McGrath has a lot of sales throughout the year that you can get these palettes for much less. That one is just like a very sparkly, shimmery shade right there. So yeah, look at that. Oh my goodness. So this one is staying for sure. Okay, and the last few here, I have a Too Faced palette, a Tarte, and then a Charlotte Tilbury. Let's start with this one, the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. So this is actually my second peach palette. The first one I had, I used it to death, and I knew I wanted another one. And what's funny is that ever since buying it again, I haven't really ever used this one, but I just know it was such a staple for me. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. I do want to reach for it and use it more often. As well as this one, I actually ended up getting a new one of this one, the Tartelette, because for this one was my favorite palette for a long time. I feel like these colors can look well on so many people and make so many eye looks out of this simple palette, because it has a lot of neutral shades and then some of these deeper shades. It's not the most interesting one to look at, but it's a very beautiful palette, so I'm definitely gonna keep this one. Yeah. And then the last one here, hi little guy. Okay, the last one here is this Charlotte Tilbury little palette. This one has the more of those mauve rosy shades, but I think I'm gonna keep this one. If I ever do want more of a pinky mauve look, I'll go for this one for sure. So this one is staying. Okay, so the ones I am getting rid of are these, which will be this one, the Huda Beauty New Nude palette. This one, the Friendcation palette from Dose of Colors. The Sultry palette from Anastasia. This one, Natasha Denona Mini Love palette. The Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. And also the Marc Jacobs palette. This one is in Fantascene. So getting rid of these. I never really reached for these in the first place, so those I will definitely get rid of. Hopefully I'm able to give at least this one to a friend, maybe the Huda Beauty palettes, because I never really reached for them or used them at all. So those are still good, but yeah, those are the ones that I am decluttering and keeping the rest. Thank you so much for watching. Honestly, it has been so good going through my collection and getting rid of things that I don't need. And this guy has joined us a couple of times here on my channel. So if you want to continue seeing a little bit more of him and of my content, please subscribe and leave me a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are, and take care. I'll see you on the next one.